Rockeyez would like to welcome Mark Allen Lanoue. Hey, man, what's up? Fixing Syxx.
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
Really good, really good. So congratulations on Tall Dark Secrets on Melodic Rock Records. It just was released a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to everybody hearing it.
Right. I listened to it a couple times this morning, and I mean, musician-wise, it's phenomenal, you know, and lyrics and your vocals are outstanding. Remind me a little bit of Michael Sweet, a little bit of Syxx, and really good stuff, you know, really good stuff.
I hear that a lot. Just because I was a big Dennis DeYoung fan and Tommy Shaw fan is no reason to say that, right?
Right. It's the truth. You know, it's the truth. You know, I'm listening to Eric's keyboards and stuff like that, and the guitar playing, and your vocals all mixed in. I mean, you know, if you put them two bands together, it sounds like you guys. You know, so
Sure. Well, I appreciate. I'm sure the guys will appreciate that because they are phenomenal.
Right.
Great players, and I think I've said this a number of times before. You know, you write a song, and the song may be wonderful, but it's those key guys and gals that make stuff sound all the better and really kind of bring it all together. And they did a fantastic job. So I couldn't say enough good about these guys.
Cool. Now let's go back. You grew up in New Jersey, Elizabeth?
Yeah, actually, I was born in they tore that wing down. I guess they must have found out I was born there. I was born at the Elizabeth General Hospital there in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Yes.
Right. So you grew up here, and you know, you played the club circuit in the '80s. I guess it started with Portrait.
Well, there was Portrait. Before that was Sentinel. We had a group called Sentinel before that. I had a drummer that came up from, I'd been in Mississippi for a little while after leaving Jersey, and then I went back to Jersey, and the drummer came up. He still actually lives up there in Pennsylvania now, but Chris Flowers, he's the one who played on all that stuff with Dean Fasano and everything that you see as Portrait up there. So, yeah.
Wow. Seems like everybody's moving out of Jersey. I guess the taxes are way too high. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess Upper Saddle River was pretty high there for a long time. I guess the rest of it's catching up, huh?
Yeah, you know, everybody's either going to Pennsylvania, Florida, or just get out of here, you know. But, you know, sign of the time. So, you know, the money talks, you know. So
that's right. That's right. But I still remember those days, and I remember all the raw and wonderful talent.
Right.
There were some really great people and bands up there. That was a great time for sure.
Right, yeah. I mean, looking back on the Aquarian newspaper, if you remember that.
I remember it well.
Yeah, like, you know, even I have a lot of the old issues, and I go, oh, man, I missed that? Oh, man, I missed that, too? You know, I mean, I couldn't get to everything, but I mean, like, there were so many bands that were just kick-ass. I mean, you couldn't do it all, but, I mean, we had a great circuit here, you know.
Yeah. Didn't it become the East Coast Rocker as well after that, didn't it?
Yeah, it's still around. Yep, still around.
Yeah.
You know?
That and a Village Voice, right?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, it's true, you know. So after that, I guess you went to Persian Risk?
Yeah, well, actually, there was a bit of a move around there. I left New Jersey and came back to Mississippi for a little while, and I ended up joining a band there for a short period, and we did a live show in Slidell, which is all over YouTube. But and where there's a connection there is the drummer that I played with in that particular gig and for that band is actually Rory, who is now the drummer for Fiction Syxx. So there's you know, it's that musicians network connection, you know, that circle of musical friends, and a lot of times they come back full circle. So that was all part of the, you know, all part of the destiny, all part of the travel through those part of things. And where Persian Risk came in is after I left that Mississippi after doing that gig, and I moved over to Florida with my now wife, Lisa. We were in Orlando, and I ended up meeting up with Carl Sentence. And Carl Sentence had just got finished with several gigs. One was with Paul Chapman from UFO in a band called Ghost, which was before the Ghost you know now.
Right.
And then before that, he was in the Geezer Butler band with Jimmy Bell. Jimmy Bell is the guitar player.
That's good for him.
Yeah, the drummer from Gary Moore, and of course Geezer Butler, and Carl was the vocalist.
Right.
And they did some really great stuff. As a matter of fact, one of the songs that they did together, one or two of them actually ended up on the Black Sabbath album where Dio came back, Dehumanizer or something like that, I think it was called.
That's cool.
Yeah, two of those tracks came from it. But anyway, I ended up joining Carl in the band Persian Risk. We drew in a lot of record label interest. Matter of fact, Sony was wanting to sign us. We were like on the 3-month waiting list. And it's like all other kind of things, management crisis. It kind of just destroyed the band, and it kind of fell apart. But what a great time. We did some really awesome stuff down in Florida. It was changing time, though. It was the 90s, so we were kind of that, we were kind of somewhere between modern and melodic, So, So trying to find our place, in the whole sequence of things. So.
Wow. It was so wild back then. Matter of fact, Reggie Wu from Heaven's Edge, I photographed him when they played the China Club, and he was in a band called White Fox, and I show him pictures now of him back then. He's like embarrassed, Holy shit, is that my pajamas, or what's up with that?
Yeah, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed about those times at all. Matter of fact, I kind of missed the hair. So.
Yeah, it was a great time back then. I mean, so much good music. I mean, any night, any day, you could go out and see a band that really can move you.
Yeah, I think my lungs are still coated with Aquanet and the white tan. It's probably still in there, all over those cells in there.
Right, yeah, definitely. Tell me a little bit about Biloxi. You had In the Wake of the Storm in, I guess, 2016. Can you tell me anything about that?
Yeah, actually, that one came out in it seemed like it was just yesterday, but it was 2008 actually when that came out.
Wow.
And we had just gone to Rocklahoma to support the Biloxi stuff, but that was an interesting story with that particular release because it was right after Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
The storm had decimated that whole area, and then our good buddy and bandmate Clyde Holly passed away in his sleep in September of 2006.
Right.
So here we are with this, thing that's this release that's not done yet. It's got a lot of Clyde playing on it, so Rob Gronkowski, my friend and drummer, he and I decided, look, we're going to finish this thing. It's kind of our testament to close the book on Biloxi, and it's kind of for Clyde, finish it up. And so I just stepped up and I sang the whole thing. I think Clyde was still on some backgrounds, and he sang like 2 tracks on the release, and he played some guitar solos. But for the most part, it was me singing and Rob doing some backgrounds. And we decided to finish it up, but it was just following a good long time that I had been with Biloxi. I started with Biloxi in 2002, right after they released Write the Music.
Right.
And so I was with them to support that release. We were on MTM International at the time, and then they signed TNT, and then they went bankrupt. So, that kind of...
Wow. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, when did you play Rocklahoma? What year?
That was 2008. That was a really cool year because Triumph just reunited, Trickster just reunited, my old buddies from Jersey. I'm sure you know them well.
Right.
And they also had several other bands there that Queensryche played the same night as us. We had Extreme was really good. I think they took the night. Nuno was spot on that evening. But yeah, we had, and another cool one was Ronnie Monroe. Actually had his solo band there, and they played right before us on the same stage. And I remember it was so hot because it rained for 2 days, and they were putting down hay down on the ground. Everything was like Woodstock relived.
Wow.
And the sun was right there, right in front of the stage. So Ronnie's all dressed in black as usual from head to toe, even his hair, right?
Right.
So he's moving around up there, he's screaming, and all I remember is him walking down and going, dude, all I can tell you is don't move. It's hot up there, dude.
Wow. Unbelievable. I only asked you that because I was there,
Oh.
So I might have photographed your band.
It's possible. We were actually in the
one of the tents?
were in the Rocklahoma. We were in the Rocklahoma table, the table book or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were there on the Sam McCaslin stage.
Right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Retrospect. Yeah. We were...
Retrospect.
Yeah, we were on the Retrospect stage, and as was Ron Keel, and Ronnie Monroe and a number of other bands were on that particular stage. I think Dario I
photographed
Dario was
that.
on the other stage. Yeah, he was on the stage to the right, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that his band I photographed. I know that because he was in Carnival.
Exactly. He came over to see us. He came to the other side because we had a mutual interest in that we were both taught vocally by a guy named Ron Feldman, who taught Janie Lane and some others out of Orlando, Florida, who's passed away some years ago. He was a great guy, but Dario was taking lessons from him over Skype, and I was taking lessons from him personally because I had lived in Orlando for that period of time. So there was a little bit of connection there. But yeah, Dario's a real talented guy.
Yeah. Wow. Now let's get on to Chasing Karma. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Chasing Karma was kind of like we brought these guys together to do the Rocklahoma show. And since we were kind of closing the book on Biloxi, we decided, where do we go from here? So we decided to write one song, which was kind of that bridge between going from Biloxi to this new thing, Chasing Karma. We were trying something new, trying to be a little bit more modern. You throw some different things in there. And so it was kind of that more from Biloxi to where do we go from here? Right. And so we kicked some names around. Fiction Syxx was actually one of the names on the block for that particular band. I've been holding on to that name for a while, and but everybody decided to go with Chasing Karma. We had several other names, but it seems every other band had those names.
Right.
And then ultimately we still found there was another Chasing Karma in Australia cover band, and I think there's even one in Canada somewhere that we actually ultimately found. But yeah, it was a fun time. We wrote some good songs. So there's some following that likes several of the tunes quite a bit, like Tell Me and the other song, Destiny. Some people like that one. So,
right. Wow. Now let's get on to Tall Dark Secrets, Fiction Syxx. Tell me a little bit about the members of the band. One band member is a very close friend, Eric Ragno. Let's go down the list of people who played on it.
Well, we'll start with Eric since you brought his name up first. First of all, these people are all wonderful people, just without even talking about their talents. They're just fantastically humble and wonderful people. As you know, Eric is a sweetheart in itself.
Right.
But Eric really, just like all the guys, really changed the dynamic of this release. I mean, his keyboards are fantastic. I told him, at first he was kind of like a little bit reserved on the keys, and I was like, look, the whole idea of this is, I'm looking at this as like a canvas.
Right. Just
because I'm coming in with a song, I'm not the director here and the leader of the pack per se, but that way, just play what you feel.
Right.
Make this yours. Do what you think will make it better. And that's what he did. He stepped up and he did a fantastic job. He's just it's not just about talent. He just knows what to play.
Right.
He is talented and he can do all kinds of things, but he knows what to play and what to put where and what kind of styles to place in there, and that says a lot about him. So so other than Eric, there's J.K. Northrup, which,
another friend of ours. Another friend of ours. He's cool.
Yes, another monstrously talented guy on many levels. But he and I have been talking about stuff for a while, and of course we did some Liberty and Justice stuff together, and he had remixed and mastered some of my Chasing Karma stuff and Biloxi stuff and made it sound better. So we had a relationship there musically and in friendship for some time, and I didn't even think about it. I wanted to work with him because he just has a knack of taking whatever I write and adding that extra little level of something in there.
Right.
He just knows where to put a slide guitar and where to put a really nice tone on the guitar. And, of course, there's some smoking solos by J.K. I mean, that one on Promised Land is my favorite from him.
Right.
And, I mean, it's smoking.
Yeah.
So there's mixtures and textures of J.K. in there, from, slide guitar to middle guitar work to solos and he did actually, he played it's my parts, but he played rhythms on some places where, we just really needed, his sound somewhere, or my rig wasn't working right that day, and he said, oh, heck with this, I'll just learn your stuff and replay it.
Wow. Yeah.
On Welcome to My Nightmare, that's actually, even though that's my original part, that's JK playing the rhythm on that one, and I'm playing lead guitar on that one. So
Right.
we kind of have a switch there on that particular track. But yeah, JK just makes stuff sound great. When you turn the track up to 30, there's no distortion.
Uh-huh.
I just really like what he does, and plus he doesn't over-process my voice on a lot of stuff. You get some songs where they just go nuts with tuning and smoothing and over-processing, and he lets some of that raw nature come out of my voice,
right?
Which I like that. So that and when I am sounding like a duck, he makes me sound like a swan. But and of course there's Tony the Fretless Monster Franklin. I mean, what can you say? The guy, he lives up to that name, the Monster, because it's not just that he's such an excellent player, but oh man, what he plays and his tone, and when he sends you tracks, they are spot on. They're with drums. They're rock solid.
Right.
I mean, it's just, and he just puts a whole new dimension to a song. If you listen to some of his tracks and really listen to where he's moving in and out of the the music, he just kind of shines and floats right to the top. In some of those places, and you can't help but be drawn in by that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Wow.
And what can you say? He was, the guy played with Jimmy Page and
right,
Paul Rogers and John Syxx and Carmine Appice, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
So what can you say? He's a legend in my book. So.
Right. Yeah. And how about Rory?
Yeah, I'm getting to Rory. Rory is Rory saying, "Hey man, you put me last." Rory's fantastic drummer. Even back in the day, in '91, he's a grad from PIT, Musicians Institute. He's done a lot of video, instructional videos over the years. He's done a lot of studio work. He does a lot in Nashville and with other bands. I mean, he's just he's not just an awesome and on the point drummer. He really puts his all into it, so that he looks at every piece of it. How is this being inserted in here? Is this being played right? He'll even analyze the guitar and say, "Hey, Mark, you were off by a smidget there," and
Wow.
I had a little thing on the end that would be really cool. So he's that guy who not just a timekeeper, but he kind of keeps that all in pace, and he's just and again, he's a great guy. I mean,
right.
I've been friends with him for a lot of years now, and he's just not only talented but a wonderful person. So of course we can start. I guess next would be what the featured artists, right?
Right. Wow. My particular favorite song was "Where We Belong." Just that song really, it's good to lean back and really listen to. One of my favorites on that on the new album. So I figured I'd just throw that out to you.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, very good, very good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole album, but that's my particular favorite. So what are the plans from here?
Well, the plans from here, we did want to play a couple shows. We're trying to, right now the main thing is I'm working on several videos that will be, they're taking a little bit because they're green screen and other stuff. There's a lot of stuff that has to go into them.
Yeah.
But we're working on several videos. The CD just came out, of course, and Andrew's working on the other end to get everything out onto digital and out in the field and doing the things like we're doing right now, interviews and having the reviews of the CD and getting. And since we're new, even though the members have been around a long time and they're known in their own spaces and stuff, and even with the guest artists, it's still a new name. And this year I was telling Andrew and others, it's in a year where there's some really, really good material coming out by some other better known bands.
Right, yeah.
So, when you get into that whole sea of better known bands that are putting out good CDs in a year, and then you come out with a name that's not quite known yet, you kind of have to dig your way through that and get people get it in front of people and get them to know who you are and get to listen to the music, and then it builds from there. So I knew it was going to be a little bit of a walk to get from releasing it to getting the appeal out there, seeing what people feel about it, and then getting set up to where we can actually play in front of people. So that's kind of the progression right now, and we're already working on Fiction 6.2. So you got to start. It's out of the gate. You got to give it a couple months breather, and then you got to start out of the gate because you figure in another year you want to try and put another one out.
Right.
So
Wow.
So we'll be working on that next.
Wow. How's it working with Andrew?
Oh, it's working great. Andrew is a wonderful person. He's a hard worker. Obviously, I sent him a message earlier today. It's like, for a one-man show, you really are putting on the fire, huh?
He has a lot on his table.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, so he believes in, he believes in the stuff, and, I got to say he took a chance because he knows, just like anybody else who's in the industry, Fiction Syxx was not a known name.
Right.
But he heard the music, he liked the music, and, he wanted to take a shot at it and take that risk he does with new artists. Even though there are some known band members in there, it's still a new thing to take on. So I give him kudos for that. And so.
Yeah, I've been working with Andrew for quite a long time. I've been to all the shows, and he supported our site in the very beginning, really helpful. And and anytime I could help him, I would. So,
right.
So you have the same perception of him as we do. So
Sure.
Great guy. What are your hopes for this release?
Well, I hope that it's accepted, and obviously, like any other musician, you hope it sells well. But it's like I told somebody the other day. The wonderful thing, not so wonderful, but the thing about this current industry is that you can put something out and you can make $2 and you can make $2 million. It really just depends. It really just depends on what people do and whether they buy it, and what exactly happens with it, and it's appealing to a certain market or sets of markets. All those things come into play. So we're hoping it's successful. We were really proud of it, and that I'm speaking for the other guys too. It's something that we're proud of. It's a little different than the other stuff that falls within that market because kind of want a little bit of an alchemy. It's like, can we get a little progressive in there? Can we get a little melodic in there? Can we get a little bit of just straight rock in there? So I wanted to get something that was a little bit more, moves around a little bit inside of the songs, each song. So, so anyway, I don't know if that answered it fully, but that's where we stand right now, and that's what we're hoping for is that, so the next one that comes out, then will no longer be that new name. It'll be something that's out there.
Right.
So.
Definitely. Well, Mark, congratulations on Tall Dark Secrets. It's on Melodic Rock Records. It just was released. Please support the band. Please support Mark and our buddies and stuff like that. Would you like to say anything in conclusion?
Well, I just appreciate you, taking the time of day to talk to me and to help to get the word out. And thanks for listening to the stuff. And I'm glad you like that song. That's actually wrote that song for my wife, actually. And I think when you listen to the lyrics, you can kind of get that out of it. So
definitely.
It's got a little bit of a zebra kind of Led Zeppelin-ish kind of thing in the beginning, with the acoustic, but I like those kind of movements.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Anyway, so everybody can go to www.fictionsyxrocks.com, and that's Syxx is SYXX. In case anybody's wondering about that. But and I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank, all the fans over the years. I'd like to thank Andrew, and I'd like to thank people in the industry that help, and, of course, my family, and number one, God. And all the guests, we didn't even talk about that, but all the guests on the CD. I mean, Bill Leverty played an awesome solo on Toe the Line. And Jimmy Bell played a smoking solo on Given Sight, and and the song you mentioned, that's Richard Kendrick in the background on vocal.
Wow.
The stacked vocals are Richard Kendrick, and there's the singers like you got Lee Small is singing on one of the tracks with me, which is Demon in My Window, and Carl Sentence is singing with me on Larger Than Life, and Steve Brown, our buddy from Jersey, is playing solo on Larger Than Life, and I mean we can get David Cagle sang some backgrounds, even he was doing stuff with us also, Liberty and Justice, and he's singing a couple of backgrounds on 2 tracks, Promised Land and Given Sight, and the list goes on. But if they go to the website, they can see all the people. I think you may know Carl Cochran. He actually sang some backgrounds on Toe the Line, and Christian Wentz played a solo and played the guitars on Time to Heal. Sorry, it was Time to Heal that they sang background and played guitar, and Andy Lee, my buddy from Mississippi, played with Circle to Circle. He's playing lead with me on Children of the Night. And so, I mean, there's lots of really excellent talent on there, and I'm looking forward to everybody hearing it.
Cool. A lot of good friends of mine played on this album. So hopefully we could give them some support. You know. So,
sure. And if I missed anybody, sorry about that. But if they go to the website, they'll see everybody.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot, Mark. I appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. You take care.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.